So, like, if you look at it in Europe, Christianity isn't that big anymore. People don't cling to the word of the Bible. Even though I am not an atheist, but I'm not, also no nor a Catholic or a Protestant person. I have to see it to believe it. I believe
Right.
there's something out there, but I don't believe the Bible because it's made up by men, in my
Right.
opinion. Because everyone could have written that story, right?
Right.
I mean, if I'm in a drunk mood, I'm just gonna write that story, no problem. Um,
Well, we're getting into some pretty heavy-handed stuff here.
Yep. Politics,
what?
religion, and ex-girlfriends. We tried to shy away from.
Yeah. Well, I'm just a
But
person
no,
who
but no,
loves to
I
discuss
see what
some
you're
stuff.
saying. I mean, I totally get where you're coming from, and and
Absolutely.
I have, I don't know, many different views, I guess. But it's
The
just,
general point is that the gaming
That
community,
struggle that the media and that the
they are
news
too far
organizations
behind.
have. Right. I think it's a lot like the problem that the record industry had and has adapting to the new market.
Yeah.
They're still trying to fight the internet craze like it's going to go away,
Yeah.
or they're going to somehow be able to seize control of it. And I think the news organizations have the same issue. They're trying to keep the stranglehold on information, but when there's so many outlets out there, you just can't do it. And
Indeed.
I think they're going to have to embrace that fact in order to survive with the newer upcoming generations. You know, they're already
Generally,
so in tune to double check everything online that they hear anyway.
generally, it's an idea. It's called adapt or die.
Yeah. But
If you don't adapt, you will lose in the end. You can pull that shit off like you did in 1980s or 1990s anymore. Simple as
right.
that. But I think what my primary concern is that the gaming community can do much more for social society, but they're all afraid to come out there and speak their heart out because they are afraid to be generalized as geeks or nerds or whatever.
Well, I think as the younger generations are getting more involved in that culture, that you see that phase happening. That you can almost see the transition going on around us, where a lot of people are that same mindset. A lot of people are trying to move towards that.
Definitely.
Where we need to get past these things and get out there. Just even if it's to the internet community, they're trying to reach other markets. They're trying to reach out to new audiences, and it's very, very important.
The funniest thing is that you're one of like the pioneers of charity events on the internet because there's not a lot out there. Tubby4acause is such a good charity, and YouTube proved that two men can make a difference in the world. And it might not be the right time right now, but in a year it will be. Because the internet is unstoppable.
That's very touching. I appreciate that.
thanks.
Yeah, well, I mean it from my heart. I said it to Tubby in like a private message before in Skype. You know, I've never witnessed anything that you have witnessed, and I'm glad about that. To be honest, if I don't want to witness what you have witnessed. I do know where PTSD is coming from. I've had like a post-traumatic stress disorder myself from watching a girl fall between a train and I see her arms all come off and limbs come off. But there's nothing to what you have been what you've been seeing, and I think it's great to have Tubby4acause actually go out there and don't be afraid of what the people will say about you. Because that's what the main concern is about a lot of people. Okay, they are afraid to come out. And that's also in the military, they will find themselves weak to opening themselves up to emotion because the media tells them that it's weak.
Right. They cover that a lot on the Wounded Warrior website about that whole stigma associated with getting treatment and just the stigmas associated with all the names, treatment, PTSD, all these types of words have these expectations behind them. And really, the reason why soldiers, in my opinion, feel as though PTSD is just this blanket title they throw on them is because they don't realize what these organizations are reaching out trying to help. You know, it really is a huge gambit of situations. And while you may not be at an extreme end, doesn't mean that you couldn't benefit from just hearing about other people's experience. You are most likely, if you listen to enough of them, are going to be very, very similar to your own. And having that added input of somebody else who's, even if it's not so much struggling, is just trying to process what happened. Just having that extra insight can make a world of difference. And
Definitely.
that's what they're trying to get out there, and that's why they're trying to fight these stigmas, is don't get hung up in all the baggage that comes with these terms. Just get out there and try to listen to people who've shared similar experiences. See how they deal with some of the, or how they deal with some of the feelings that they have. And take away from that all the things that can help you. You know, don't dismiss it and try to protect yourself from the label. You know, just be open to listen to people's conversations. Yeah, listen to what they have.
That's the main issue with not just Americans but with Europeans as well. We're all right now because of the enormous amount of information we can get from people, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, you name it. We can get every information about every single person, except for their true feelings. Because everyone is now putting up a mask against society, like they try to be perfect. They are trying to be fitting into society. While a majority of the Europeans and Americans are having struggles fitting in that category that the media creates. Whilst, especially at war veterans, I know a few of them in Holland. They have seen things that you don't want to see, and the main issue with that is they can't have any let out on them because they are afraid to be socially pushed out because they might be insane because they're like seeing a shrink talk about it, like having group conversations about it, and that's the main priority. Which is causing them to not go to see someone about their issues, and that's what I like Tubby4acause is that two people are opening up against the entire world, actually, because everyone can see this. They're opening up with their problems and trying to help other people. And you don't see that a lot. You don't see it anyway.
Well, I think it's a very important message that needs to get out there. I mean, it's something that I've been instilled with since I was young, is that you always do what you can to help other people. I mean, you don't necessarily have to put yourself out, but if you can, why not? I mean, what's stopping you?
And society right now is stopping you.
Well, we're trying to surpass that. That's the whole thing.
It's society that will label you. And a lot of people say, oh, I won't be labeled, I'm against labeling, but they are being labeled and they know it.
Right.
Well, yeah, I mean, everybody has that from their own experiences. I mean, they all come in with their prejudices and their stigmas and all that stuff. But you just have to, I think the thing for me was, you know, when you look at it, the only things that matter to me are A, can I pay my bills? Is my wife and children happy? Are my wife and children cared for? And how's their quality of life? So, and to improve their quality of life and to make sure that they're cared for, I had to seek treatment. You know, it was a physical and, you know, mental decision that I had to make that, look, I can't live this way anymore. This is not good for them. And since I want them always in my life, you know, I have to make this change. It's with me. I'm the one that has the problem. You know, and a lot of people, especially PTSD sufferers, they haven't gotten to that point yet. You know, it's everybody else that's messed up. It's not them. You know, and it's almost, I liken it to alcoholism, where you have to be the person that makes the choice. You can't make the choice for that person. You can't force them into treatment, but they have to come to that decision of their own. They have to want to be able to change, or they have to want to be able to learn different tools to learn how to deal with things better, because it never truly goes away. Severe cases of PTSD, it never really, like, you're never really truly
Indeed.
cured, but you learn tools that aid you in to recognize your triggers. You know, like one of the big triggers for me is fireworks. I can't handle fireworks, especially if I don't know when they're going off. You know, and
You know,
so I just
my
avoid those. You know, but you know, it's different things for different people.
my grandma has the same thing, because in Holland the fireworks keep getting extremer and extremer. And my grandma witnessed World War II, and she says like, I don't like fireworks anymore, because once they were just firecrackers and some nice shiny stuff. Nowadays they are so much more extreme, and they're with such loud bangs that she actually has flashbacks from World War II. She can't handle it.
Wow. Wow. You know, I actually had an incident when I first got back. I was camping at an event, and this particular event had a cannon that they shot off at the beginning of the daily activities. And I was there every single day without a problem listening to this cannon go off until the last day we were there. They had an activity that I wasn't a part of and I didn't know about, and they ended up setting this cannon off while I was asleep. And that was by far my most vivid flashback moment, if you would.
Yeah.
I was in Iraq until I mean, for the first maybe 30 seconds or so after I woke up, until I realized that where I was and what was going on. And it's a very scary feeling to realize that you were awake and processing something that you're not involved with anymore. It was a very scary feeling, and that was something that they helped me deal with. It's just even the feelings from that incident, like it really had me worried about my mental stability, you know. And I had to realize that it's very natural when things like that happen. That's not saying that your mind is snapping. It's just something that commonly occurs. And being prepared and aware that these things are possible and how to process them when they do is a very beneficial tool that I picked up.
Yeah, I agree. Talking about problems, talking about things that come up with you recently helps a lot, and that needs to be put out there. A lot of people are scared to go there.
Definitely,
Because
that
they
was like
are.
one of the main things when I first started seeking treatment. That was like the main thing. I was at Walter Reed Hospital for a while, which is like one of the major hospitals for wounded veterans. And one
Yeah.
of the things when I entered treatment, they kept saying is you have to tell your story. Like you have to say when you got injured, how you got injured, what was going on at the time. And the more you tell it, the more commonplace it becomes, and it doesn't become like this great monster that you had to face. It becomes a lot easier to deal with, each time you retell the story. So
Definitely.
I've maybe told my story at least maybe like 100,000 times by now. I know my wife.
Maybe 100,000.
Yeah, maybe probably
Right.
more.